All in favor? Meeting is hereby open. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At the outset, I would just like to acknowledge a very sad, something that happened that was unexpected, I think, the passing of William Bill DeVico, the owner of Reader's Hardware. It's very sad to hear about it. He passed on February 24th, 2025. The obituary is not available yet, but I could just tell you that the visitation will be Sunday, March 2nd from 1 to 6, and Monday, March 3rd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And if we could just take a moment of silence to acknowledge the passing of Bill DeVico. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Oh, it's at in Dobbs Ferry, Edwards Dodo. Thanks for that. The first item on our agenda is a presentation by the Climate Smarts Communities in their 2024 Annual Progress Report. First, we want to thank you guys for everything that you've done for us. You guys are a really important part of the village. You've dedicated so much of your time and energy for us, and we appreciate everything that you've done. And we're looking forward to this, and we hope you continue to volunteer and do what you do for us for the foreseeable future. So thank you again. We really appreciate it. Do I need this stuff?
You do. Janet Rosef, coordinator for the CSC Task Force, which is the new task force that's part of Sustainable Dobbs. I'm going to start by just talking again, like we did last year, about the annual report for 2024. I think you all have a copy of that, so hopefully you reviewed it. We're hoping that it gets approved and we can get it up on the website, because that's one of the requirements for the Climate Smart Communities program, that every year the report gets publicly posted. So the report, just really quickly, the report, it's organized. We start with highlights of 2024, then we go through all the actions that the CSC program outlines. So there's a framework of actions that and that Dobbs has undertaken for this year. And then at the end, we talk about some of the challenges that we encountered for the year, and then we end with our kind of goals and priorities. But what I wanted to talk about were some of the highlights, just because that would be a nice thing to do, because we really fun, and we did a great job this past year. So 2024 highlights that we should all be proud of. The first, of course, you all know, in March we were designated as a silver level Climate Smart Community, one of 17 in the state. And as a result of that, we got 2 separate designation grants from the CEC, Clean Energy Communities, and that totaled $425,000 that we have, that's been used now for the project, the solar project at the DPW, which will see a reduction in GHG emissions by about 143 metric tons of carbon CO2 equivalent, which is huge. That's a great project, and I don't want to talk too much about all this stuff, but another highlight that we've seen in 2024, we got 5 separate CEC action grants, which are separate from designation grants. And some of those were being used for electric maintenance equipment for the DPW that they requested, and looking into Memorial Park building to get that fully electric, the mechanical upgrades that would make that a 100% electric building. We're also, as you all know, we're going through the new comprehensive plan process, which has been going really well and is on track to be done this year. And the last one that we highlighted in the report was the upgrades to this building, the Village Hall, which has now been completed, and it's a 100% electric building also. So those were the highlights. I think 2024 was a great year. The only challenge, one of the challenges that I want to just talk about briefly was that just like this report has to be an annual thing that's made public, the other thing that should be an annual occurrence is a benchmarking. There's a benchmarking requirement for the CSE, and that means that we need to track the energy use every year for the village. And it has to be posted, apparently. The last one that was posted on the website was from 2020, so we really have to get on track with that. And that's something that we are hoping to do this year, is get that going. And we'll be talking to you about that later in the year. Okay? All right, so we can go to the next thing.
Thank you. Thanks, Janet. Hi, good evening. Matthew Giorsi, Chair of Sustainable Dobbs. So I'm going to talk about the Sustainable Dobbs' goals for 2025, as well as the Clean Energy Community grant history, as Janet alluded to, or give a little bit of background on. One of our 2024 priorities was to update the Climate Action Plan, which was last updated in 2017. However, given the work being done with the comprehensive plan and really looking to ensure that the two plans are aligned and complementary to each other, we've put the Climate Action Plan update on hold, and so as to leverage all of the work that's being done in the comprehensive plan to inform the Climate Action Plan once that's completed. That being said, we did hold a planning session in early January to identify our 2025 goals. You can see them here. I'm not going to discuss each of the bullets, but just to highlight a few. The Transportation Committee, which is really a de facto traffic committee, is working to help create denser housing closer to trains and bus stops. The Built Environment and Energy is exploring more renewable energy generation and storage opportunities throughout the village, as well as reducing the village buildings' energy use and reliance on fossil fuels. The Zero Waste Committee is diligently working on a food scrap initiative. They're currently collecting information and data from residents that will inform a broader awareness campaign and will hopefully culminate in a multi-village residential curbside pickup program. Gardens, Trees, and Local Food Committee is looking to restrict the use of gas leaf blowers and improve the enforcement of our current code as it stands as a means of reducing the noise and pollution from them. And the Water Committee, which really is just getting started. While it's been kind of on the books, it's been pretty dormant. They've identified stormwater pollution as an area that they want to address as we learn more. So those are our 2025 goals, as well as, as the comprehensive plan informs the Climate Action Plan, we'll be working concurrently on updating that over the course of the next 12 months. And then we wanted to just take this opportunity, as you may recall, in November, when we received one of these grants, that it was asked that we kind of track the overall history of all of the grants we've received through this Clean Energy Community program, so that it could be shared with the community, because it really is pretty substantial. We've completed that overall comprehensive list of these grants, as well as the projects they funded. As you can see, since 2017, there have been three rounds, if you will. Round one, the leadership round, and then CEC 3.0. All total, we received over $700,000 in grant funds from 15 grants. But more importantly, those grants have helped fund a number of projects. that include educating the community about food scraps and electric lawn equipment. We've used the funds to help upgrade the energy efficiency of 3 municipal buildings, which has resulted in 2 of them, Village Hall being one, and hopefully Memorial Building to be 100% electric. And then, as Janet mentioned, it's helping fund the DPW solar array, which is projected to save the village $1 million over 20 years. And very importantly, offset the electricity of Village Hall and the Memorial Park building, which will ultimately kind of leave those buildings to be a net zero buildings, which is really a great achievement. So with that, in an effort to give you more information, we've included a more comprehensive version of this in your packet, so that you have some language if you do want to share it with the rest of the community.
Good evening. I'm Carol Pollack, also a member of Sustainable Dobbs and the CSC committee. So to ensure that Dobbs Ferry remains a leader in terms of environmental action and sustainability more broadly, we would like to propose the engagement of a dedicated sustainability coordinator. The role of the coordinator would be to support your efforts as Board of Trustees and the village administrator in the development, management, and advancement of sustainability initiatives within the village. Our proposal is for an individual who could support Dobbs Ferry's engagement with the 2 programs that Janet mentioned, Climate Smart Communities, Clean Energy Community Programs. These are the 2 main state frameworks that guide the work of Sustainable Dobbs, and successfully engaging with these 2 programs brings a lot of benefits to our community. You've just seen all of the grants that it has brought in, but also, of course, the reason that we want the grants is because it brings improved air quality and efficiency in terms of cost savings, and a healthier and more walkable village, reduction of future flood risk. There are a whole host of benefits. These are just a few of engaging with these programs. So these things are important for New York State. They're important for our village, for New York State, and for the world beyond in the larger fight against climate change. And we wanted to note that participating in them requires a considerable time commitment. This was something that we discovered ourselves as we went through the process of updating the CSC actions and applying for the silver status. And partly because of the time required, and because we're a volunteer committee, we also are thinking about the sustainability of our own actions, and that's why we're proposing the engagement of a dedicated coordinator or consultant to focus on this area. In moving forward with this, we would be in good company. Irvington has a part-time sustainability director. Beacon and Phillipstown engage part-time climate smart coordinators, and Rockland County, New Rochelle, Portchester, and Mount Vernon have full-time sustainability coordinators. So we're sharing this with you just to illustrate that other communities are also investing in this role. Just to be clear, from the CSC committee, we understand sustainability broadly. And so while we propose that this coordinator would contribute to the work of CSC and CEC programs, we also would foresee that this person would support sustainability efforts more generally in the village and work with other Dobbs Ferry boards and committees as well. So we have prepared a list of proposed responsibilities for the sustainability coordinator, and these include grant funding, something that the committee is already working on, but so keeping abreast of national, state, and local sources of funding for which the village might be eligible, and recommending projects that would advance our sustainability goals, the village's sustainability goals. The individual could work closely with village staff on project management and grant administration. They could work to inform the village of opportunities and guidance provided by New York State programs, also potentially county or federal programs, or from foundations, for example. They would also help to find Dobbs Ferry to develop a solid foundation on climate action through the development of the Climate Action Plan, which Matthew mentioned. They would help to coordinate and communicate with Dobbs Ferry Village staff and elected officials and different departments, and could also help us coordinate with some of our neighboring villages in these efforts, and finally could support awareness raising around sustainability options and opportunities. So we have prepared a little terms of reference on this, which we would also be happy to share for your consideration. Thank you.
Again, are you guys done? Yeah. Okay. So I want to thank you all for what you've done. I can't thank you guys enough. I know it's a lot of time, a lot of energy, and you've brought back so many benefits to the village that not only from an environmental point of view, but money part of view, and also preparing us for the future. I mean, it's great to see the DPW is using electric leaf blowers and other equipment rather than gas powered. If we're going to be setting the standard, the village itself should be using that equipment. So I thank you again. We hear you with the sustainability coordinator. It is budget time coming up. We will entertain it. I cannot promise you what's going to happen, but we will entertain it, because I do think the grants alone that you brought, I know, are worth a lot of money. So if we had someone watching that, right, and bringing that in, so it makes kind of sense. But we will review it, we will talk about it, and it's not none of this is a reflection on you. I think, we all think you've done a great job, and we will look at that going forward in the upcoming budget. Okay, anybody else want to say anything?
I just want to say, I think that the work you've done is extraordinary, especially as volunteers, and we already see that there's a return on investment, that if we make a minimal investment, I'm sure that the return will be exponential. So I will be fighting to get that, but I really want to thank you guys for everything the mayor just said, and there's things that, that I've learned about from you guys that have helped me and have changed my habits and how I, move through this village, this county. And thank you very much for everything you've done. It's really, really appreciated and very much needed.
Anybody else?
I thank you for your presentation. And I think having the list of responsibilities that we need in a sustainability coordinator, I think all of the concepts of the sustainability work need to be in everything we do and not necessarily even separated out. It should be a part of how we run the village completely. So I think taking all of those roles and responsibilities into consideration into how we operate throughout the village versus an individual person is something we can also consider, because I think it's important to be sustainable in all the ways.
So thank you again for everything. We appreciate it. Yes?
You have to
Oh,
adopt,
we have to vote. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion.
you have to adopt the report so they can upload it to
Where
the
is that?
website.
It has to be posted.
I move.
Wait, I don't,
Does it need to be added to the agenda?
I have to add it to the agenda, I guess, huh?
Was it not on the agenda?
It's listed as a presentation.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
see it on
Has
it.
to be voted.
So is there a motion to add to the agenda a vote, resolution approving the Climate Smart Communities 2024 Annual Progress Report? Trustee Nell, second. Trustee Rosen Asher, all in favor? Now, is there a motion to accept and approve the Climate Smart Communities 2024 Annual Progress Report? Trustee Patino, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? It's approved. Thank you. So I guess that's action item number 1, Liz, huh?
Can we add a 0? Numeral.
The second item on our agenda is a public hearing. Due to a noticing issue, we were not going to be able to address that issue today. We're going to adjourn that to the March 11th, 2024 Board of Trustee meeting. So if you were here for that, I apologize. We're putting it over until March 11th, 2024. Next are the appointments. The first appointment is I'm going to announce the appointment of Betty Lynch as the Chair of the Human Rights and Diversity Committee, and Nadia Rahman as a regular member of the Human Rights and Diversity Committee. We thank Ms. Rahman for everything that she's done, and we thank Ms. Lynch for what she's going to do. She knows what she's getting herself into, but we appreciate everything that you're going to do, so thank you very much. Next, is there a resolution to establish a Human Rights and Diversity Committee and appoint members consisting of the membership of the former ad hoc committee. Before we even go further, let me just explain the background of this. We had appointed this Human Rights and Diversity Committee as an ad hoc basis in light of what had been happening in the last few years. I thought it was important to have this committee, but I had no idea what to expect from this committee. The board had no idea what to expect. And I think the committee has made a really strong, positive contribution to the village, and they've earned the right to be a committee as opposed to an ad hoc committee. And I think at your suggestion, Betty, we've now decided to make it a full committee. So that's the background for this. And is there a motion to establish them as a full committee?
Can I just say something before? Yeah. As one of the original members of the committee and as liaison to the committee, I've had the pleasure and the honor of watching it go from being a bunch of people who want to do the right thing but don't know how to go about it within this context to being a very well-organized, well-oiled committee that is very focused on their mission to educate, to build community, to raise awareness, and everything that they've done has fallen into those buckets, and whether it's creating a survey, whether it is making sure that we honor different groups and different celebrations throughout the year, or these listening circles that they're doing now. It's been an organic process, not without its bumps in the road. But if anybody would like to be a part of this, they're doing extraordinary work. They do a great job with their interns, and it's really helped to bring some of the young people in. And I just want to thank Betty and the whole committee for everything that they've been doing. And I'm thrilled that we're going to have this vote to make sure that the committee lives beyond the tenure of Mayor Rizzo.
Yes, thank you for that. So is there a motion to establish the committee as outlined above? Trustee Rosen Asher, second trustee Sullivan, all in favor? That passes unanimously. So thank you, Betty, we appreciate it.
And I just want to point out, I added the provision in the resolution that you can appoint more members. That leaves it open to increase the membership of that committee, too. We don't want to have everything falling to the ad hoc members at this point, so you have the right to appoint more members to that committee.
Okay. And we encourage people to apply to the nominating committee and then go through the process. So thank you. Action item number 2, you're welcome. You want to say anything, Betty, at all? Well, I was going to say, why don't you come up to the microphone? Come up to the microphone, we need you up the microphone.
We could not have done all of this without the support of the mayor and the Board of Trustees. And I know many of you have participated more recently in our listening circles, and it's just been great to see how you have really embraced the work that we're trying to do, and we're really looking forward to expanding it, because listening to all the discussion about the infrastructure, of the village, we feel strongly that Dobbs Ferry, as important as all of the concrete infrastructure is, the human infrastructure, the community, is what brings people to Dobbs Ferry. And we really appreciate your help in supporting us to whatever we can do to help the community build. So thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you.
Okay, the next is an appointment. Is Alex here? Alex, why don't you meet me at the podium? Before I actually swear you in, is there a motion to appoint Alex Beck as regular member of the library board to fulfill the unexpired term of John Kaufman as recommended by the nominating committee? Trustee Nell, second trustee Rosen Asher, all in favor? Passes unanimously. Congratulations. I need you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and to carry out the duties of library board trustee of the Village of Dobbs Ferry to the best of your ability?
I do.
Congratulations, welcome. Is there anything you want to say?
Just,
Say it to the microphone.
I think I'm thrilled to be able to help support the village and this civic institution. I love libraries. I love books. Thank you all.
Thank you for volunteering. We always want volunteers in Dobbs Ferry, so thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Let's give it up for Sam here. Okay.
Mr. Peck, before you leave, would you come sign the oath book,
Why don't you come
please?
sign the book now? We don't want to keep you here for the next 4 hours.
What?
What?
Got my full attention.
Is there a motion to appoint Sam Gruen as a regular member of the library board for a term of 3 years as recommended by the nominating committee? Trustee Galen, second. Trustee Rosenberg, all in favor? Passes unanimously. Again, we want to thank Sam for volunteering to be part of the library board. Is there a motion to appoint Caitlin Horsfield as a regular member of the Conservation Advisory Board for a term of 3 years as recommended by the nominating committee? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Patino, all in favor. That passes unanimously. We want to thank Caitlin for stepping up and volunteering to the Conservation Advisory Board. Caitlin's here? Caitlin, you're here. Oh, so thank you. Come on up. I want you to say something. Come on. Thank you for volunteering. I appreciate it. Come up to the microphone. Tell us, what made you decide to be on this committee?
Okay, I am very committed to stewarding Dobbs Ferry's natural resources. I'm a third-generation member of this community, and it's very important to me, and I'm very excited to contribute in any way possible, so.
Thank you, because your family does have a long history of volunteering and being part of the
Yes,
village.
yes.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One spectator.
Is there a motion to appoint Ryan, is Ryan here? No. Is there a motion to appoint Ryan Rosenberg as a volunteer firefighter for the Dobbs Ferry Fire Department? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Patino, all in favor? That passes unanimously. Courtesy of the floor. Is there anyone who would like to speak on courtesy of the floor? Come on up.
I don't embarrass myself. My name is Steve Van Borsk. I've been a resident of 13 Main Street for 78 years, so I have a little experience with that. My grandmother bought the house in 1931, so it's going on 100 years. I'm fortunate enough to have my best friend, my neighbor, same time. So my problem right now is overnight parking. We've taken away a lot of things over the years. Just to give you a little rundown as far as I can remember. We had sometime in the 70s, we had mechanical levered parking meters, penny for 12 cents, a nickel for an hour. And if you took your shoe off and you put a penny in, you get like 25 minutes. So then we went to the other mechanical meters, were 5.10 and a quarter. That was fine. And then at some point, we decided we didn't like that. We put the electronic ones in, which really didn't work out that well. I said we had a lot of problems with them. As far as overnight parking, it used to be three days a week on Main Street, alternate side. And then through our wisdom, we decided we wanted 7 days a week. So we basically took away 25 spots on each side of the street at night, which is 100 spots a week. And then that was okay. We had resident parking permits, which I gladly paid for every year. And I says, and they could park in certain spots on High Street and certain spots on Palisade Street. Did that for a couple of years, and then we decided, well, we didn't like that. So when I went to renew it, they said, well, you can't park there anymore, you have to park. I said, where? They said, well, on the village lot. I said, well, I live on Lower Main. And I actually just walked the village lot. There's no parking in there right now, maybe because of the board meetings, I don't know. My point was that it's being so restrictive. They took away half of Livingston, now they took away all of Livingston. I come down in the daytime, Livingston Avenue is empty now, there's no commuters. The High Street is empty. Palisade Street is empty because it's one way, and God knows when that is ever gonna get fixed. You know, I never even heard anything more about that. Now, I got a notice on my car last week that there was no parking on Walnut, Thursday or Friday, and now they've taken that away, so you got 4 hours, they only allowed 4 hours. So my question is, who's making these decisions, and are they thinking of people like myself? I said, I don't understand it. I'm confused by the whole thing. My neighbors are in agreement with me because we have no place to park at night. And if you get a spot, sometimes you don't even want to use it. You don't want to lose it, I should say. So,
The answer to your first question is,
Sure.
we're making the decision.
I know, but how many people live on Main Street here?
No, I understand. I don't mean to laugh at your problem.
No, I'm just saying,
Right.
that's what bothers me.
All right, so, there's a traffic committee that works in conjunction with the police department and the administrator. And the goal usually is to try to get when I say turnover, so that cars can't park there for days on end, so where spots open up, and people can be encouraged to walk and to use other spots to park. We are addressing one of the issues, I think, today.
No, next
Right,
week.
next week?
You're setting a public hearing
Setting a public,
to change alternate side.
On Livingston.
on Livingston,
Well, that will help.
right.
That will help.
We're also fixing the wall that took us a couple of, so that's an ongoing engineering project.
Why?
It's like-
But, and we're always watching, looking what we can do to make it better for both the residents and the people who shop here. So we are looking at things. I can't promise you that we will fix anything in the near future, but
But you have to remember this. Coming from Lower Maine, we were always, I don't want to say mistreated, but we were always treated lower than Upper Maine, because that was the business district.
right,
We don't have a lot of business on Lower Maine.
Right.
I understand the need for, well, the commuters are parking all over the place now. I understand that. I says, whatever I don't know how much they get, $400 or $500 a year for parking down the waterfront, but I understand that.
Right.
But I says, it seems as though we've restricted people like myself to small little enclaves. And I said, that's what bothers me more than anything, you know? Anyhow, thank you
No, I
guys for your
appreciate
time.
you. You're welcome to come anytime and speak, and we will continue to look at the problem.
Yeah, and can I just say, so to respond directly to, who lives on Lower Main, so this is something that we have worked on these issues for a long time, and every time that, we try to both streamline and simplify the parking situation downtown, which got completely out of hand, and there were,
Well, parking,
13
that's the
different
thing is,
things.
If you take away
Right.
alternate side,
Oh,
you took away
no, no.
25 spots.
All I'm saying is.
That's 4 houses.
Right, so what we need is exactly what you're doing, is for folks to come and tell us how, because the changes that we make are in response to other concerns that have been raised. So we're not making changes in order to take away anyone's spots.
High Street is empty, right?
100%.
Bring your neighbors to the next meeting. Bring them to the next
Send us
meeting.
emails and tell us what's going on.
Livingston Avenue will-
Yeah, and that
Check,
pub,
is that a check?
Is that a check?
Yeah.
It's non-negotiable.
that public hearing will be March 11th, and you've had the local law in your hand, so you can vote the same night. It will become effective
Let
immediately.
me ask you a question. What good would the resident parking permit do me now? Nothing.
Yeah,
Right, because there's nowhere to park, so it doesn't matter.
we've restricted
That's
it.
what I'm
So
saying.
bring all your neighbors to the meeting on March 11th.
And my son was a police officer here for 10 years. And I said, so I do get a break, I'm sure, once, well, it still costs me $100 a year in fines.
Pleasure to meet you, thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
all.
Thank you.
Steve, could you spell your last name, just so we have it? We didn't get
Yeah.
it. Your last name?
Your name, please?
Excuse me?
Your name?
Steve
Steve,
Amborski,
How do you spell that?
Hamborski. Check on hold.
I got it.
The clerk
Thank
got
you,
it.
Mr. Hamborski.
I want to see how this runs.
I want you to stay because we want people here. Is there anybody online? Okay. How long have you lived here?
72.
And this is the first time you've been to a meeting? Second time, all right.
It's a trend.
Thanks for coming.
It's a trend.
I have no problem hearing, so some of the stuff you guys have muted.
Okay. Let's go to the resolutions. Is there a motion to authorize the village administrator to execute a public-private partnership agreement with the Rivertown's Chamber of Commerce? Trustee Galen, second. Trustee Nell, all in favor. That passes unanimously. That will grant the Rivertown's Chamber of Commerce $1,000, I believe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We have regular public-private partnerships with a number of entities, including the Historical Society, the River Arts, and the Chamber. They provide services and assistance, economic assistance to the village, and they request some participation, and this is the request this year from the Chamber.
Okay. Action item number 2 is to award a bid for the Esterwood Wallgrove Drainage Improvements Project. In addition to the resolution, we have a memo from AI Engineers in which they state that they've reviewed all the bids that we did receive, and the lowest bid was from Gentili Construction Company, which they recommend that we employ, and the price for that would be $370,800. So is there a motion to?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Rob, do you know where this falls relative to what we budgeted and estimated originally for this?
Yeah, it's below the engineer's estimate.
Of
And
what was that?
I think it was
Four,
about
450?
500,000.
there's close to 500,000.
Okay. Thank you.
And the range of bids came into 10 bidders, and they were all very close between the 370 and up to 560, around that. So we had a good range of bidders, good qualified bids, and the engineers gave us the recommendation they'd work with them before.
And this being a public works project, it'll require a secret determination. I can prepare a resolution for your next meeting, just so we cover ourselves with the record keeping.
Okay, so is there a motion? Trustee Rosenberg, second. Trustee Patino, all in favor? That passes unanimously. Action item number 3, which is really action item number 4, I think now, right? Am I messing you up, Liz?
Don't say numbers.
Is there a motion to certify the 2024 points listing for the Village of Dobbsbury Fire Department Length of Service Awards Program? Trustee Patino, second. Trustee Rosen Asher, all in favor? That passes unanimously. We want to thank everyone who volunteered. We have a listing of all their hours that they spent on our behalf, and we want to thank them all for what they've done to the village over the last year. Next action would be to consider a resolution to accept an anonymous donation of a refrigerator for the Dobbsbury Recreation Department. We've had, I don't know how this came about, but we have a refrigerator that someone donated for the value of $200. Is that correct, Rob?
Yes, we just had to make it official as a gift, so this resolution makes that official.
Okay, we want to thank that person for the donation. And is there a motion to accept the donation of the refrigerator from an anonymous source? Trustee Sullivan. Second, Trustee Galen. All in favor? That passes unanimously, and we want to thank that person again. Every year, I believe, there is a conference for the Public Employer Risk Management Association, otherwise known as PERMA. This year, the conference is in May of 2025, and the village administrator has requested an opportunity to go to that conference. So there's a resolution before us. So is there a motion to approve when I say necessary expenses, I don't know what the necessary expenses actually come out to.
Yeah, what is the necessary expense at the casino?
Where is this event?
At a casino.
A cute outfit.
Verona, New York, at the Turning Stone. So I was a former board member of PERMA. I have a feeling they want me back on the board, but we'll see. But But it used to be at the Sagamore, and they tried a different venue this time.
It seems like rather open for necessary expenses.
Right, it's,
We'll leave it,
No
we'll
alcohol.
leave it to the village treasurer to review those
it's
expenses.
just
Yeah, with a
registration and
fine-tooth
hotel and
comb.
travel.
Will do.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the village administrator attending this event? Trustee Rosenberg, second. Trustee Nell, all in favor? That's approved. We want a full report at the next following Board of Trustee meeting.
Mark it.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Board.
We had previously discussed the expenditure for a geographic information system. I think at first we were hesitant to do it, but I think upon further explanation, I think the board believed that it would be a prudent thing to do for the village. So before us is a resolution to accept that, so we can talk about it if there's still an issue. But is there a motion to accept the proposal of AI engineers to provide GIS services for the village? Trustee Patino, second. Trustee Rosen Asher. That passes unanimously.
Thank you, and they were able to hold their prices from last year, so thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. We had just alluded to the parking problems on Livingston Avenue, which was recently brought to our attention. So in light of that, we've going to make some changes to Livingston Avenue, but before we can do that, we must hold a public hearing. So is there a motion to schedule a public hearing for March 11th, 2025, to consider a local law amending the amending the parking restrictions for Livingston Avenue? Trustee Rosenberg, second. Trustee Patino, all in favor? That passes unanimously. We still have to move the comment. Yeah. Next item is to consider a resolution to approve a request from Bear Burger, which is,
Are they open?
I don't think they have actually
Keep
opened
getting
yet.
coupons.
Do you? Okay.
Waiting.
Which is going to open shortly at Rivertown Square, 18 Hamilton Street. And this is a request to waive the 30-day notice waiting period to apply for an on-premises liquor license. So is there a motion to approve the request from Bear Burger to waive the 30-day notice? Trustee Rosen Asher, second. Trustee Galen, all in favor? That passes unanimously. And is there a motion to approve the audit of claims as submitted and recommended by the village treasurer? Trustee Rosenberg, Trustee Patino, all in favor? That passes unanimously. And that brings us to trustee liaison reports and announcements. Do you have anything for us, Trustee Galen?
I do not.
Trustee Rosenberg?
I do not.
Trustee Sullivan?
I do not.
Trustee Nell? Trustee Rosen Asher?
The Human Rights and Diversity Committee has set dates for further learning circles. I believe it's like the end of March. So if you have not already done so, I encourage people to sign up for it. They're really fantastic. Just in a Dobbs Ferry chat with the Rivertown's Chamber this morning, they had said that rather than do their taste of Dobbs Ferry for like one day, they want to do a month-long thing in July with dining specials and things like that. So they're working on that. They're working on putting together their first ever gala, and they have their member appreciation party tomorrow night at Mirabella at 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Trustee Patino?
CAB has a number of events. They're on Sundays, starting in March, go through to the early summer. It's invasive species cleanup at places like the Juring or Chauncey Park. There are some planting dates, so if you want to volunteer, get outside, get your hands dirty, sign up for those. They're fun.
Okay. Rob, do you have any updates regarding the village?
I was going to provide that next month, the second meeting of every month. If there's anything in particular, I know we're working, we're establishing the capital plan. So That's a report forthcoming.
Okay, I didn't mean to put you on the spot like
No, that's
that.
okay.
I just-
If there's anything in particular, but I'll have that prepared for the,
I just want to state, the Sustainable Dobbs mentioned the food scraps and expanding that to pick up at your home. Everyone should be aware that the VOC, which is a village officials, we all meet. We did get a grant to study combining all of the villages, river towns, and to do the food scrap pickup at home. So the study has been going on longer than we thought it would, but I think, Rob, it's almost coming to a conclusion, right?
yeah, it's a year-long process. We're about 75% through it. But it's on schedule, and we had our meeting together, as you mentioned earlier, so we're on target.
So hopefully we can either share the actual trucks or work out, which probably won't happen, but something however we can share the services with actual home pickup of the food scraps, so. Yes, Laura Lee?
I do have a brief update. The Comprehensive Plan Committee has been actively meeting and working. They just want to remind everybody that there's a link to survey, a QR code on survey on the website. We would encourage as much public participation with the survey. We've been getting very good responses and results thus far, but we need to keep it coming. And to save the date for March 29th, will be the first public workshop, and that will be conducted at the Embassy Center. That will be an in-person public participation event to get information, to also to take more comments on the materials that we've found thus far. So that save the date, March 29th at the Embassy Center.
How are we planning to publicize that so that people know and can come?
I'm asking everyone to save the date for March 29th.
Maybe he's asking you to say.
General public.
Oh, no,
Yes.
they're going to.
It's in the news.
It'll be in the newsletter.
Newsletter, and we're also engaging with a lot of entities in town to make sure that the materials are being pushed out. The business owners are aware. We're engaging with the stakeholders, and it's important for the members of the Comprehensive Planning Committee are also pushing the information out.
Yeah, we should, but I think we also, there's a planned rollout that the planner is working on.
Gotcha, okay. Want to make sure there's a plan.
Okay. Is there a motion to?
Oh, Liz.
I just have one thing. I just wanted to acknowledge receipt of a letter from the Westchester County Coordinator for the Toys for Tots program. Along with that letter came a Commander's Award from the United States Marine Corps Reserve, thanking the village for their participation in the 2024 program. And I also wanted to extend that thank you to the mayor and the board for the continued support, as well as our residents, neighbors, friends, people from all over who are contributing, and means the world to me, as y'all know. So thank you so much.
Thank
Really,
you,
the thanks
Liz.
goes to you, Liz.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you, Liz. Is there a motion to close tonight's meeting? Trustee Rosenberg, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Passes unanimously. The meeting is hereby adjourned.